Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I wanted to discuss one of the most iconic makeup brands of our time. Well, I guess if you were on beauty kind of social media when it first started kicked off, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now I know it's probably Anastasia Beverly Hills, but that's too much in an English accent. We're also gonna be talking about this sister brand, I guess we can call it Norvina. And when I say iconic, I don't mean it's all good. I mean iconic to a point where they kind of made themselves a big deal. And like the rest of this series, which you can watch here somewhere, this is one of the brands that I've noticed, and I'm sure maybe you've noticed too. The brands that were once huge names in the beauty space, online and just on, you know, in the beauty space in general, seem to be losing their hype and their popularity recently. Have you noticed? I think everyone's got to notice, right? So let's do it. Let's dive into why no one is buying Anastasia Beverly Hills. Just before we get into it, give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and yeah, there's really heavy rain and there's a window right here, so if you hear it, I do apologize. Still boiling hot though. So as always, let's take a little look at the past. We need to understand the past to understand the present and the future and where this brand is going. So Anastasia Beverly Hills, the original kind of brand, we can say, was founded in 1997. Now, not how we know it now. It wasn't like products and all this kind of stuff. It was more of a salon where brow stuff was being done by Anastasia Soiree herself in Beverly Hills. Anastasia Beverly Hills, that's where the name comes from. It's like that part in a movie when they say the title of a movie and like, oh my god, that's why it's called this. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. So Anastasia herself was born in Romania, and she was actually an esthetician. Well, I guess she still is, you don't really lose it, right? Unless you do something really bad. And she made her like main thing, like her signature, I guess, service, eyebrow shaping. And she used something called the golden ratio. Now listen, throughout these videos and throughout this, I know a lot of people make these kind of videos based on brands, but I like to think that I give a perspective from a makeup artistry point of view. And I'm gonna get into that a little bit more because everyone was calling it her revolutionary golden ratio technique. So for anyone who doesn't know, the golden ratio isn't something she invented, which a lot of people said she invented when I was online researching her. I think maybe they misunderstood slightly. So the golden ratio is known as like the divine proportion, and it's the way things are measured a lot, not just in beauty. We're talking architecture, art in general. And when I Googled it also, it says it's a oh god, I said it wrong already. It's a mathematical ratio that is approximately equal to 1.61803398887. I don't know what that means. It's basically considered aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. So if you follow these golden ratio rules, and your eyes can be like, oh, that's pretty. It's maths and human nature mixed together. So you know when we measure our brows like this, or you go and get your eyebrows done and they put like that ink, whatever it is, on a piece of string and measure out your brows. It's basically that for beauty. Or when like you're building a house on The Sims and you put a window down and you're like, that's not quite right, and you know it's just not right, so you move it. Kind of like that. Kind of not, actually. And it suggests that the distance between, some distances between, you know, the eyes and the lips, the nose and the mouth, the brow and the nose, and kind of that like facial dimensions should kind of like stick to that kind of rule. So Anastasia was said to have popularized this golden ratio technique in the context of eyebrow shaping. And she believed that brow should follow the golden ratio to kind of give a face a more pleasing look. And her technique kind of aligns with given correct proportions. Now, I just want to question this slightly because I want to question that it's her technique. Because for those of you who've never seen my content, perhaps it's your first time here, YouTube wasn't always my full-time job. It's only been my full-time job since we went into lockdown. When was that? 2020? So I've been a working professional makeup artist since 2006. Before social media, before Instagram, I think, well, before anyone was using it. Before all, you know, the makeup hype happened on social media, it was a very different time in the makeup world. And if you weren't, you know, in it at the time, then it's kind of difficult to understand how it was having no knowledge of makeup that came from anywhere on the internet, you know? So when I was learning makeup, probably around 2005 at this point, when I was 17, we learned this golden ratio for the brows. It was just fact. That's how you measured brows to draw them in and the proportions. Did we always follow it? No. However, we'd never heard of Anastasia Beverly Hills. Never. Her name was never mentioned once in like any kind of makeup training, any lessons by any of the incredible makeup artists who had amazing careers, who taught me and taught others. No one was ever like, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills method, because we didn't know who she was. In the UK, how are we gonna know about some artist in Beverly Hills who isn't necessarily a makeup artist, more of a beautician? She wouldn't have been relevant to us at that point of time. She owned that small Beverly Hills store and was just about releasing like eyebrow powders or creating her own eyebrow powders to use in her own salon at that period of time. And it was in US stores only. It was never coming over to the UK for a very long time. So to say it's her technique is incorrect. Very incorrect, actually. Maybe she popularized it, as maybe she made it mainstream to people who weren't makeup artists. But makeup artists and beauty professionals have been measuring brows like that for years and years and years and years. In fact, here's a video, a little clip from a video from the 60s. I love these like vintage, get ready with me. They're not that kind of situations, but this is from the 60s, watch.
Contours, your brow should start directly above the inside corner of your eye. To locate the other end of the brow, place a pencil on a 45-degree angle from the outside corner of the eye up to where it crosses your natural brow line. And this is where the brow should end.
And she kind of has a demonstration of just this exactly on her website. She moves the line up a little bit, but it still goes to the same point from the middle of her nose. And she's like full on got like a patent where you make it like your own thing and nobody else can use that service, which I find really strange. It doesn't make sense to me. That's the wrong end of the brush. It doesn't make sense to me why this kind of basic makeup artistry technique would be considered her technique, you know?
My name is Anastasia Suare. I'm the creator of Anastasia Beverly Hills. I develop a technique on how to shape your eyebrow according your bone structure and natural eyebrow shape. It's based on the golden ratio. You could look in a mirror, according your bone structure, you will follow this procedure. Above middle of inside of your nostril, outside corner of the nose, corner of the eyes, this should be the end of the eyebrow. Tip of the nose, middle of the iris, this should be the highest part of the eyebrows.
And we do have to bear in mind, of course, while this like golden ratio kind of technique has been like the preset go-to for a really long time, everyone is different, everything changes, beauty is subjective, you don't have to do it. Okay, anyway. Back on track. Anastasia started to do incredibly well in terms of her salon, her clients. She was getting all these celebrity clients. Naomi Campbell was one of them. She even did Oprah's eyebrows on TV, which I'm really jealous of. I want to do Oprah's eyebrows. She was basically helping like all these people recover from the 90s eyebrow trend of having absolutely zero eyebrows. She was giving them back these big bushy brows and, you know, kind of what we know as like that Instagram brow back in the day. Probably not as thick though. So in 2000, the year 2000, she was asked, oh my God, I remember the year 2000, I was a child. This is how long this brand's been going for, you think about it. The year 2000, the millennium, you were at a Millennium Street party or something. Well, Anastasia Beverly Hills was releasing eyebrow kits into Nordstrom. Now we don't have Nordstrom everywhere. Again, I believe it's just the US. So it wasn't a worldwide release and it was only select Nordstrom stores. So it's gonna be like the main around California, but it was like this little tiny brow kit, which was really cool at the time. Remember, not everybody had the amazing makeup knowledge we all do now. And this was at a point in time when having your own makeup kit, your own makeup collection, the goal wasn't to kind of like buy a lot of different things. It was more to have your whole kit be, not kit, I keep saying kit like professional, but your own personal makeup be one brand. So you wanted all your makeup to be MAC, you wanted all your makeup to be NARS, Estee Lauder, you know? The trend wasn't collecting makeup, it was to have these keepsake pieces and your go-tos and your trusted, reliable products, you know? People weren't gambling so much buying makeup back then. So to have like all your brow products be one brand was kind of like, oh, okay. And to have like this helpful kit, cute. And the brand, Anastasia itself, relied on these brow products for years and years and years and years. That's all they did. Again, there were no kind of trends in makeup coming around as quick as they did. It was seasonal back in the day. So to have one product and that be your product for a long time wasn't unheard of or a bad move. It was actually quite smart. I mean, to think of a brand releasing products every fucking week back then, like maybe Colourpop does now, unheard of, unthinkable, and people would be like, why? People aren't buying makeup that much. So if we travel forward a little bit, let's get into those Instagram days where it all started. So Norvina, who is Anastasia's daughter, I can't remember her real name now. You think that's something I would look up, but they call her Norvina, so do we. She kind of convinced her mum to get the brand onto social media, onto Instagram. She kind of saw the potential and was like, you know, Instagram's a place to be. Do it, let's do it. So they did it, and what a good move for them. So they now have 19.1 million followers on Instagram. We'll touch on this later, but this is how a lot of us worldwide started to hear about the brand. Like most brands at the time, only being available in the US. I remember I really wanted to get my hands on some of the Anastasia Beverly Hills products. Whether I liked them or not, I was like, oh my God, they're the thing to have. I want them in my kit. I still wasn't on social media at the time. I was a working makeup artist. To pull out something that was kind of like, oh, I have this product from the Americas, you know? I wanted that. I got some of their products eventually when I lived there with varying results, and again, we'll come back to that in a minute. And of course, moving down the line, Anastasia Beverly Hills started to release more products. Their iconic dip brow, which was like the thing to have, started a whole trend of how we do our brows back then. And of course, the modern Renaissance eyeshadow palette, which was, honestly, people were feral for that palette. They like lost their shit about this palette. And looking at it now, honestly, with all the stuff and options, we're spoiled for choice now. It's actually not that much of a big deal. Like, it doesn't look very interesting. But back then, oh my God, the packaging, are you kidding me? Like this velvety felt, and then these shades, these beautiful pinky nudie shades. Oh my God. Like most brands who made their career online on a beauty influencery space, collaborations with influencers kind of was their thing. And a key element to their success in the beauty space, they did collaborations with Jackie Aina, Carly Bible, and even the drag queen Alyssa Edwards, which was kind of a weird one, but a good one. They also had these iconic products at the time. Their contour cream palettes, their brow powder book things with the powders in. And this is, again, when people were just discovering contour, just discovering highlighting, sculpting, all the tricks they could do with shades and depth. So these were like really interesting new products. But also like any other brand, if you're going to be a brand, you expect it, right, to have negative and positive reviews of your products. And it was mostly positive reviews, but one product one product would set this like rocky road for him going forward. Not like this huge major impact, but if you look back on it now, where we are in the mind frame of the beauty space, this is why I think what kind of led to a bit of their downfall. And that product was the infamous Subculture eyeshadow palette. This palette, I actually owned this. This was one of the first things I bought. And I have to be honest with you, it stopped me buying anything off their brand again, ever. I was like, why does everyone love this brand so much? Why does everyone love this formula? I don't get it. So honestly, for me, the texture was horrible. Color palette wise, it's not very user friendly. All the cool tones blending like muddy together. And this wasn't like the brand. The products from the brand are user friendly. The feedback wasn't good on this palette at all. So for those of you who don't know, YouTuber Lisa Ashley, incredible YouTuber, she actually did a review on a Subculture palette. It wasn't a good review. It was almost like she didn't want to say it was terrible, because when you say something is bad that everybody seems to like, they come for you. It's really fucking weird. They will act like it's their brand, or their mum invented this brand, or their child invented this brand, and come for you like a fucking weird person. She didn't like it. She's very honest in her reviews, very knowledgeable in her reviews. She just didn't like it, and no one did, right? Other influencers started to review it, and they were like, actually, you know what? This is terrible. This is a really bad palette. The texture, the color story, everything is just wrong. But instead of, I haven't put any makeup on for ages. What am I doing? And instead of like the brand being like, you know what, we messed up here. We kind of dropped the ball on this. The texture of the formula isn't what you expect. It's not what we expect. We're sorry. They kind of came out and were like, oh no, you are just using it wrong. It's kind of complex and you kind of need to know what you're doing to be able to use it. You just can't do makeup. It's meant to be a challenge. Shut up. If I want a challenge, I'll do a puzzle or like Lego or something. After this, they did release palettes that were kind of their regular formula that people liked, and people did kind of like gain some trust back with them because of this. But let me tell you something, the Subculture palette is a palette people have not forgotten and they won't forget. Talking about never forgetting, right? Something the brand says. Let me just share this. Let me share this Twitter interaction I had with a brand really quick. Anastasia Beverly Hills made a post. I'm assuming it was an intern, so I do apologize to that intern. I was tagged in this tweet that was based, I need to get it up because I can't remember exactly what it said. Okay, so it was like, Tuesday Anastasia Beverly Hills tip. If your skin tends to be oily, select a shade of Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation that has a cool undertone. Then somebody atted me in this, they tagged me in it. Was like, genuine question. What does the undertone of a foundation have to do with someone's skin type? How does the cooler toned foundation help with oily skin? Now, what could be kind of like, okay, I see here is when you're considering oxidization. However, this wasn't their response. Their response was the following. The cool undertone helps matte the oil, which is incorrect. It's either mattify the skin or block the oil, but without making the skin look flat. Hope that helps. Now, so you're telling me that the cool tone version of this foundation as opposed to the other tone is mattifying more to oily skin. So they tagged me in it, right, at the end, and I said, no, I completely disagree. You should be using an undertone of foundation that is your undertone. Full stop. In anything. Let's just say that. Stop using yellow undertones in yellow. Matte isn't anything to do with undertone or skin shade. It's not. Matte isn't a shade or a tone. It's a type of finish. Did I put finish like the country? Anyway, to suggest a tone would mattify the skin is a strange claim. I went on to kind of explain this a little bit more as like, oh, is your water too wet? Have you tried adding green to it to dry it out, the color green? If you are a brand and you release a foundation, right, but the cool tones are matte and the other tones are hydrating, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. Anyway, let's talk about Norvina. I find this whole Norvina situation kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. And by situation, I mean the existence of it. So as we mentioned, Norvina is Anastasia's daughter, and I believe she is or was creative director of Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is kind of a given. Family business, keep it going, nothing wrong with that, as long as you know what you're doing. Norvina kind of became this sub-brand, like a sister brand to Anastasia Beverly Hills, and their first kind of wrong move, I guess you could say, was creating these really big palettes that had a different formulation to the regular Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, but also a lesser than texture formula. It didn't quite live up to the, the hype and what was expected from Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. This is a personal opinion coming up. What I found really strange about the whole Norvina brand was, well, Norvina herself. She got kind of really involved in the brand to a point where you're like, yes, it's your brand, get involved, be a spokesperson for the brand. But her presence in the brand was kind of strange. She kind of made herself into this celebrity with a brand who the brand is named after. It was like a celebrity brand, but nobody knew the celebrity prior to this. She's on all the ads, the campaigns for the palettes, on all their socials, but it was like she was trying to make herself like this famous influencer with a brand deal. It was really strange. It isn't like, like her mum, Anastasia Beverly Hills, it's named after her, yes, but it's named after her renowned salon. Okay, so it's like, say I have millions and millions and millions of followers and I have this amazing brand that everyone loves, then I'm like introducing my sister brand, Jeff. My Uncle Jeff, I don't actually have an Uncle Jeff, he loves candles. This is Jeff Candles. And Jeff is in every candle image. And now everyone's like, oh, Jeff, oh my God, the authority on candles. It just didn't make sense to me. I just thought it was really weird. Anyway, now we can't talk about this brand and not talk about Anastasia Beverly Hills herself and her alleged support for Vladimir Putin. And yes, you heard that absolutely correct. So she left a comment on a pro-Putin Instagram account. It's ran by someone called, I need to read his name, Dana or Dana Bundanu? Who knows? who cares? But she's also known for her like anti-vax, anti-EU, pro-domestic violence past post stories on Instagram. So instantly you know this person is one of the world's biggest douches, to say the least, absolute least. So this post shows Vladimir Putin himself with his gross body hanging out. And under this image, somebody called Anastasia Beverly Hills, I believe it's from her private account, commenting this. So although some people argue that the original post was mocking Putin himself, the original poster, Dana, whoever, has had a horrific history showing support for Putin and saying horrendous things about the people in Ukraine. I didn't actually know the extent of all of this until I ventured onto Reddit, which is really brave of me as a beauty YouTuber, because they they are vicious over there on Reddit, I'll tell you. So what I will do is link the post, the thread down below, so you can take a look through there and have a look at all the previous posts. And of course, this wasn't a good look for the brand in any way at all. You couldn't excuse this and be like, oh, maybe she means it's funny that you just can't make an excuse for this. She was also following a lot of people that perhaps as a brand you wouldn't really want to associate yourself with, and they kind of try to like come back from this, do damage control. She started following like Joe Biden and sharing all this stuff, but it was too late. We all knew it was damage control. Again, the internet never ever forgets. So let's kind of conclude here. Is it true that no one is buying Anastasia Beverly Hills? Well, of course, no one is buying is an overstatement, because if no one was, it would be completely shut down. But why is no one buying like they used to? It's not just Anastasia Beverly Hills that this has happened to, it's a lot of brands. No one is buying makeup like they used to. And we all know sales, views, followers have all kind of gone down, and the whole kind of beauty online industry has slowed down, not completely gone. It's just not in its boom like it was. It's still a $1 billion industry. Anastasia Beverly Hills is no exception, whether that's in sales itself or just overall hype around their brand. I mentioned earlier they have 19.1 million followers on their Instagram account, but by looking through their content, a huge chunk of their audience aren't interacting with their content, not even 10%. How do you have 19 million? That's 19 million followers and not even 10,000 people liking a post? Perhaps the instances of, you know, liking posts about human filth, or releasing palettes with awful textures and telling us it's an us issue, or doing huge PR searches for small creators and then like knocking them off that list years later, has led to a huge amount of distrust for the brand and kind of unlikability for its owners. For products that once seemed really intuitive, they've become what I like to call unnecessary staples by today's makeup standards. Although we still love to contour and highlight, we love to perfect our brows, we also know that we absolutely don't have to do any of that. And especially in this era of makeup that we're in, a lot of the time less is more. And listen, gone are the days of lusting over a contour palette that contains only 1 or 2 shades that we can use on our own skin tone, and the others we just ignore them. And gone are the days of having to heavily detail our brows in an early 2000s kind of format. Anastasia Beverly Hills kind of made it her thing and the brand's thing to fix the 90s eyebrow, right? Take it into the 2010s, but the brand kind of hasn't seemed to grow past the 2010s eyebrow era. When a brand becomes the authority on a particular thing, brows, eyeshadow palettes in the case of Anastasia Beverly Hills, they seem to get a we know best attitude, and they kind of release new products, yes, and it's that all kind of like 5 to 10 year ago vibes, you know? And yes, I feel like brands should have a particular feel, a particular story to their brand and aim for a particular kind of audience. But I think what brands like Anastasia Beverly Hills need to realize is that there are no more big boys in the beauty industry. You know, the brands that were once up there, the people that were the authority, we can get rid of you very easily. And by we, I mean the consumer. It's up to us what we buy and who we buy from. And you're battling a load of people who have a potential to release really good stuff, and stuff that is probably actually gonna make your stuff look kind of mediocre. Anastasia Beverly Hills need to come out with something truly special now, I feel like, to relive those glory days, you know? It could be a palette, it could be an eyebrow product, it could be something different. But we as consumers are hungry for something new and exciting, and something that does actually challenge us. Maybe relaunch that Subculture palette. I'm joking, don't. That's my little opinion there on the brand Anastasia Beverly Hills. Let me know if you kind of want to see a revival from them. Are you kind of done with them? What is their next move? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for joining me. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. You can watch more content like this here. Thanks again, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.